You wake up and already feel behind. Every morning feels like a silent emergency. If you've ever looked at the ceiling and thought, why am I already overwhelmed? You're not alone. The chaos doesn't begin with your inbox. It begins the second your eyes open, not in your calendar, but in your mind. That one reflex to reach for your phone, it's not just a habit, it's a sign. You're not connecting, you're escaping. Most of us start our day in survival mode, running on autopilot, reacting to demands, answering messages before even answering to ourselves. We're chasing urgency before we've even paused for clarity. Napoleon Hill taught that the dominating thoughts we allow into our minds each morning shape our entire day. But instead of choosing those thoughts, we let them flood in. Notifications, headlines, comparison, all before breakfast. You're not just tired, you're misaligned. You're not behind on tasks, you're behind on presence. What you do in the first 30 minutes doesn't just set the tone, it becomes your internal script. And right now, many of us are reading from a script that starts with stress and ends with self-doubt. A successful morning isn't about perfection, it's about power. And real power comes from ownership, from awareness, from alignment. This isn't about becoming a morning person. It's about becoming a present person, someone who sees their morning routine not as a list, but as a declaration. I lead today. That leadership begins with one question. What energy am I choosing to carry into the world? Start with silence, with breath, with one act that brings you back to center. A former executive once shared how her mornings used to trigger panic until she implemented a simple ritual, a 5-minute visualization exercise. Not to manifest money, but to remember who she wanted to be before stepping into performance mode. That's what visualization can do. It reclaims intention from chaos. Your morning is not a warm-up, it's the main event. It's where daily discipline begins, not as pressure, but as grounding. Self-mastery is not about controlling outcomes, it's about choosing how you begin. Quietly, consistently. You want productive habits? Start with one. Don't let input enter your system until alignment has. Don't open the world before you've opened your breath. Mental clarity is built, not found. It's built when you refuse to let noise fill your first hour. If you don't anchor your thoughts, the world will scatter them. You don't need a better plan, you need a better start. You don't need to do more, you need to start strong. Hill never said win the day by working harder. He taught that energy, direction, and belief come first. That belief, it starts with you deciding your first hour is sacred. So write it down, reflect. Set your tone with a moment of stillness and one act of goal setting, not as performance, but as permission to be intentional with your life. You crave momentum, not because you're weak, but because your energy has been hijacked by everyone else's urgency. Take it back. That's how morning momentum begins, not with caffeine or chaos, but with consciousness. You don't need to impress anyone with your routine, but you owe it to yourself to protect it. Because every strong life is built from a string of strong mornings. Not perfect ones, just honest ones. And if you've been waiting for the right time to reset, know this. Daily success is not in the grind. It's in how you choose to begin again, tomorrow morning. Take a breath. This time, choose you. Most people wait for confidence before they take action. But the truth is, confidence comes after consistency. And consistency begins with self-mastery, the quiet discipline of honoring your own decisions, even when no one's watching. Self-mastery isn't dramatic, it's subtle. It's waking up and choosing to return to your morning routine, even when you don't feel like it. It's reminding yourself that showing up for your life begins with how you show up for your mornings. Because if your mornings are reactive, your life will be too. But if your mornings are rooted in presence, in reflection, in intention, then everything you touch carries that energy. So stop waiting to feel strong. Start by acting like you already are. One breath, one practice, one choice at a time. That's how mornings become transformation, not tasks. You don't fall behind at noon. You start spiraling the moment your thoughts outrun your breath. If you've ever sat in silence but still felt chaos, you know this spiral. It begins invisibly. One intrusive thought, one skipped breath, one email that flips your nervous system into overdrive. Suddenly you're in your day, but completely out of your mind. This is the hidden cost of an ungrounded morning. It's not that you're lazy or unfocused. It's that you began your day without owning it. Napoleon Hill taught that clarity, purpose, and momentum are not found. They're designed, starting with your first thoughts. When you don't choose your mindset chooses you. And often it chooses fear, pressure, urgency. A scattered morning becomes a scattered self. And that self, it struggles to lead, to focus, to breathe. We think daily success is about doing more, but it's about feeling less fragmented. You can't build anything stable on a spinning foundation. That's what happens when you wake up into a reactive spiral. No breath, no pause, just sprinting from alarm to agenda. But here's the truth. Your first 15 minutes can shift everything. When you claim your morning routine, you interrupt the spiral. You trade reaction for rhythm. You give your nervous system space to land before the world starts pulling. It's not about fancy habits, it's about anchors. What anchors you? One founder I worked with began each morning with 3 minutes of visualization. No goals. Just imagining how she wanted to feel at 3 p.m. Grounded, steady, empowered. And slowly, that feeling became real. Not by force, but by focus. Mental clarity doesn't appear, it's practiced. And it starts when you stop outsourcing your attention. Try this. Instead of checking your phone, check your pulse. Where are your thoughts? Where's your energy? Who are you serving, yourself or the spiral? That's what self-mastery looks like in real time. You don't need 2 hours of journaling. You need one deep breath that you actually notice. You don't need perfect focus. You need a morning momentum that aligns with who you are becoming. And you become that person by keeping tiny promises. 1 glass of water, 1 page read, 1 minute of presence. These are not tasks, they are micro-declarations. I lead my life. Hill called this the law of cosmic habit force. Your rituals become your identity. So what identity are you repeating each morning? That's why goal setting isn't just for big plans. It's for micro choices. For saying, today, I meet myself with calm before I meet the world with urgency. This is the difference between spiraling and centering. And it's built on the simplest discipline, attention. Daily discipline isn't harsh, it's loving. It's the act of remembering that you are worth designing your day around, not reacting to it. Let your mornings be the place where you re-enter your body, not escape from it. Let your first action be sacred, not rushed. This is where the spiral stops. In breath, in slowness, in choice. Because the way you start isn't just the tone of the day, it's the blueprint of your life. So choose to start strong. Even if everything else is chaotic, this one choice creates the break in the pattern, the calm in the current, the pause in the noise. That's where everything changes. And it starts again tomorrow morning, with you. Most people chase motivation, but the truth? Motivation burns out. What stays is routine. And routine is where productive habits are born, not out of pressure, but repetition. You don't need the perfect schedule. You need anchors that pull you back when the spiral starts. That's why habits like journaling, stretching, or sipping water mindfully matter. They're not glamorous, but they're grounding. That's how self-mastery begins. Not with control, but with awareness. Not by doing more, but by choosing better. Every time you choose presence over panic, you're rewriting the story of how your morning unfolds. That story becomes your rhythm. That rhythm becomes your edge. The spiral loses power the moment you remember. This hour is mine. You think strength means showing up when it's hard. But real strength? It means showing up especially when no one notices. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's choosing to lead your life before the world pulls you off course. We often confuse strength with hustle. We think it looks like 10x calendars, hard workouts, relentless effort. But strength, the kind that lasts, looks quieter than that, more grounded. It looks like daily discipline, done not to prove, but to align. It looks like waking up, not to fight the day, but to meet it on your terms. Napoleon Hill didn't define strength as energy. He defined it as clarity plus persistence. And in his world, it all started with how you begin your day. Morning momentum isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. You don't have to dominate your mornings, you have to direct them. Let me show you what that strength looks like. It's pausing before reacting to a notification. It's writing 1 line in your journal, even if your mind is messy. It's breathing deeply for 30 seconds before touching your phone. Strength is when you protect the small space between stimulus and response. That space, that's your life's direction. And when you own your morning, you expand that space. Mental clarity is built in micro moments, in tiny acts of self-mastery that compound over time. No one will give you that clarity. No app will deliver it. It's earned in silence, in repetition, in choosing purpose over pressure, one morning at a time. You already know what drains you, but do you know what restores you? Think about your last strong morning, not productive strong. When you moved with intention, not reaction. What created that? It wasn't the perfect checklist. It was presence, purpose. That's what productive habits are really about. Not output, but alignment. And here's the truth. Strength is not starting over on Monday. It's starting again today. It's not about being inspired. It's about remembering why you began. You don't need another planner. You need a promise to keep showing up for your future self, one breath at a time. That's why goal setting matters, not as ambition, but as direction, as the signal you send to your mind each morning, this is where I'm going. And when you repeat that direction daily, it becomes identity. That identity becomes energy. That energy becomes impact. So no, strength doesn't look like force. It looks like you getting up tomorrow, grounding yourself in stillness, and choosing one small thing that aligns you with who you are becoming. Start with visualization. Close your eyes. Picture your best self already living today's decisions. Let that version guide your next step, not your fear. Because every strong leader you admire, they didn't wait to feel powerful. They acted with intention until it became natural. That's how daily success is built. Not from grand wins, but from quiet mornings done with conviction. And here's what's beautiful. That strength is available to you today, not when you fix everything, but when you decide to direct just 1 hour, one action, one choice. That's what strength actually looks like. And it begins again tomorrow morning. You want to know what real strength looks like? It's in the moments no one applauds. When you wake up early not to grind, but to reflect. When your morning isn't filled with noise, but with self-mastery. Self-mastery means choosing stillness when distraction is easier. It's recognizing that your worth isn't in your inbox, but in your presence. That's why the strongest people you meet often begin their days slowly, not because they lack ambition, but because they understand that silence is a strength amplifier. You don't build morning routine just to have structure. You build it to have sanctuary, a place where your mind can settle before the world demands everything from you. And that's where start strong becomes more than advice. It becomes a lifestyle. You don't start strong by doing everything. You start strong by doing one thing that centers you. That could be breath work, movement, a 5-minute reflection. The method doesn't matter. The intention does. Let it be sacred. Let it be yours, because how you begin is how you become. And becoming strong isn't about force, it's about flow. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose presence, you win. That's what strength looks like, and it starts again, tomorrow morning. There's a version of you who already lives with clarity, who rises with purpose, not panic, who leads their morning, not escapes from it. That version isn't far, it's simply buried under noise, neglect, and autopilot. But the good news, you don't need to fix everything to access it. You only need to start with one choice: own your morning. Because mornings are not just a time of day, they're a mindset. Every insight we've explored, Napoleon Hill's philosophy, self-mastery, mental clarity, goal setting, they all converge at the same place. How you begin determines what you become. Let's connect the spiral. In page 1, we saw the quiet power of your first thoughts, the unseen battlefield between chaos and calm. How your breath, your presence, your first 10 minutes set the tone for every action that follows. That was the reclaiming. In page 2, we dove into the hidden collapse, how spirals begin subtly, the cost of unowned mornings, the disconnection between intention and behavior. That was the awakening. In page 3, we reframed strength, not as noise, but as depth, not as hustle, but as alignment. We revealed how daily discipline, productive habits, and morning momentum become identity. That was the empowerment. And now here in page 4, we arrive at integration. The truth is, your life won't change in one dramatic moment. It will change in 1,000 quiet ones, like drinking water before caffeine, closing your eyes to visualize who you want to be, writing one sentence that reminds you why you started. That's how your brain learns safety. That's how your habits become identity. That's how your mornings become daily success. So don't chase intensity, chase consistency. Your mind doesn't need more noise, it needs rhythm. This isn't about building a perfect life. It's about protecting the moments that build it. And all of them begin before the world sees you, when it's just you, your mind, your intention. That's where the real power lives. That's where clarity lives. That's where you live. Let this be your reminder. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are simply one morning away from momentum. And if this resonates with you, stick around. That's what we do every day here at Mindset Mastery Hub. We reclaim our mornings. We reset our identity. We rise on purpose. But maybe you're thinking, it sounds good in theory, but what does it look like in practice? It starts the moment you wake up, before the notifications, before the pressure, before the autopilot kicks in. That space, that's where your morning routine lives. Not a perfect checklist, but a rhythm designed for you to support your nervous system, your clarity, your calm. Think, what if the first 10 minutes were built around expansion, not urgency? That's what the best productive habits do. They stretch you slowly, sustainably. You don't need to win your morning, you just need to protect it. And that protection builds something deeper, self-mastery. It's the quiet conviction that says, I choose me, before the world chooses for me. It's drinking water before caffeine. It's a journal line that reminds you of your purpose. It's visualization, seeing your future self already embodying peace, direction, strength. These aren't tasks, they're anchors. They're signals to your brain. I am safe, I am clear, I am in charge. And when you repeat these signals daily, guess what happens? You become someone who doesn't just start the day, you start strong. That strength ripples through your decisions, through your reactions, through the energy you carry into every room. It doesn't require more hours, just more presence. That's how leaders are built, not by what they control, but by what they protect. And it always begins where you can't fake it, the morning. So tomorrow, don't aim for perfect, aim for alignment. Give yourself one moment, just one, that belongs fully to you. Because from that one moment, a new rhythm can be born. And that rhythm, that's how you rewrite your life.